Okay, so I know I said I was gonna do more videos now that I have my tablet, but let's be honest, it's summer. Do people honestly think that I guess that the famous people that do videos Shane Dawson or Connor Franta or Joey Garcefa or all that, they've got a schedule and they do videos every day. I do it when I'm bored and I have nothing else to do. Or I've just read a book. Anyway, I actually have a mini rant to go on, which I shouldn't even be talking about myself because I'm kind of bad for it too. What I find that I will admit it now, I'm a Wattpad addict. I spend all my free time on Wattpad reading One Direction stories or Justin Bieber or all that, and I'm gonna be completely honest and tell you that I do read Justin Bieber. I know, shame on me, blah blah blah. But I am a Wattpad addict, which is an app or a website. Therefore, it is a screen animated, like a screen book. And that's kind of what my rant was about how so many people these days are using Kobos and e-readers and Kindles and phones. And they're not even, you don't actually feel the book in your hand. This book, it's physical. It's thick. It's got pages. I didn't realize until a couple of nights ago when I was actually reading this book how much I missed being able to read one page and then flip to the next one and read over there. Instead, with an e-reader or Kobo, you just press the side of the screen and it'll automatically flip the page for you. There's no awkward positions that you have to force yourself to get comfortable in. There's no moving. There's with the Kindle or the Kobo. I remember when I got my first Kobo, I would come home from school every day and I'd read Breaking Dawn. On it, and I remember I'd do the dishes and I'd have my Kobo right there and I'd be right here and I'd be reading and I'd be doing the dishes and then I'd press it with my soapy hands and I'd read the next page. Nobody actually takes the time to stop everything they're doing to pick up an actual book with pages. I know my mom's been reading a series and it's 3 books and she's actually reading the books. And I know my best friend's mom is reading actual books as well as her Kobo, and same with my best friend. But a lot of people nowadays are just on e-readers and iPads and Kobos and stuff just to read a book. And it's you could have the physical one right here with the pretty cover and the nice back. But people they just don't really appreciate it. Honestly, they don't appreciate that these people spend money to get people to design the cover, and then they have got to do all the writing and all it, and they have to make it the right size and the right font, and then they've got to a lot of effort and work gets put into making these books and copying these books into making multiple copies of these books. But people are just taking the easy way out and downloading it off the internet and putting it on their Kobos. I don't know. I just don't like it. So anyway, I've got this book in my hand because I just recently read it a couple nights ago. Actually, I was on I think page 29 or something. I was walking home reading it from my friend's house. And then I kind of just put it off to the side, watching Netflix. The usual. And then I'm you know what? It's a reading night. I'm going to put away the Criminal Minds, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to read. And I managed to read all of this by 12. Well, I started reading at 8, and I finished this book by 12:30 a.m. I kept reading until midnight. I get that I shouldn't do that because it's the end of summer and you need to get into a routine. I'm working into getting a routine, but that was last night that I decided to do it, not 2 nights ago. Anyway, I did stay up to read this book. I didn't understand parts of it because it has to deal with a Mexican bad boy makes a bet with his friends that he can do stuff with this girl Brittany, and Brittany is the high school, I don't know exactly how to say it, because popular nowadays is basically everybody that has like over 1,000 followers on Instagram. So I'm not exactly gonna call her popular. I'm gonna say she's the head cheerleader, so she's like kind of the it girl at the high school, and she's dating this guy Colin, who when he goes away, when he comes back, they still think they're gonna be the golden couple. And in their chemistry class, their teacher orders them by last names, and her last name is Ellis, and his last name is Fuentes. I don't exactly know how to say that right, but and E and F are obviously right beside each other in the alphabet. There's no like blurb right in the middle. But yeah. So they're put beside each other, and they absolutely hate each other. And because of this bet, Alex is like, trying to charm her, and he's antagonizing her to make her think about him all the time. And then a whole bunch of other stuff happens. It's very dramatic, and it's got to deal with gangs and other like gang-related stuff, and it's got to do with drugs and bets and gambling and all that stuff. And a lot of stuff happens. And when he wins the bet, he has to tell her to go away, because that was her whole plan all along, was to get him not to go through with this big drug dealer, to get out of the Latino blood, which is the gang. And it's a really cool book. Like, I really liked this book. There's two others, and I think it's Chain Reaction and then something else. And because Alex has two brothers, Carlo and I want to say Louis, but it's spelled Luis. I don't exactly know how to say it, but he's got two younger brothers, and the next two books have to deal with his two younger brothers, kind of within the same situation, I'm assuming, because I didn't read the other two. And at the end of the book, the epilogue is Alex and Brittany's kid, 23 years later, going into the high school. And I didn't honestly, I honestly thought she was going to stay with Colin instead of go with Alex. But I guess it's a classic bad boy meets, like, bad boys to popular girl story. It's just natural. Opposites attract. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's really not. Okay, on to music. They're not new, and it's nothing new from any new hip hop artists, but it's Hailstorm. That's a bad reflection. There we go. My mom's friend's boyfriend gave me gave me the CD, and it's Hailstorm, and it's really good. It's like a punkish rock band kind of thing, and this chick, she's got it's the weirdest voice, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it as in weird good, because it's just unnatural, and it's not what it's not what you would usually hear with rock bands. Like, nowadays, it's all just people screaming and you can't hear it, or it's people complaining about something. Like, but see, Hailstorm is really good, and she's got this really nice, raspy kind of voice, and it is a really good voice. Like, I love her voice. It's just, like, amazing. It's just pure amazing. Movies. I haven't seen any new movies lately. I've been watching a lot of old, like, romance comedy kind of movies on Netflix. I watched Pretty Woman today. That was a good movie. I didn't like how she was stubborn right close to the end, and then he, like, pulls up in the limo. It was just so sweet. For those of you who have seen Pretty Woman, you know what I'm talking about. And I also watched, last night, I watched The Breakfast Club, which is about these group of misfits. They all did something wrong at school, so they all get this Saturday detention in the library. And they're completely different kids. There's, like, the bad boy, there's the crazy girl, there's the jock, there's the nerd, and there's, like, this really pretty girl. And it's what you would usually say, like, on the social ranking kind of thing, like, where it goes, like, crazy people, bad boys, nerds, jocks and popular people, like the kind of like the triangle, like the chain. You'd never think these 5 kids would even ever speak to each other if they didn't have to. And when they do, they suddenly become friends and they realize, well, they all have a lot more in common than just going to the same high school. They've got family problems and a bunch of other crap going on. People pressuring them to do something, like their family pressuring them to be perfect. These kids, these 5 kids, bond. And for those of you who haven't seen The Breakfast Club, you have not lived. You need to watch that movie because it's just amazing. It's just plain amazing, honestly. I don't know. If you haven't seen The Breakfast Club, you honestly haven't lived. I watched it a long time ago, and I've watched it 3 times-ish, I think, since getting Netflix, because it is one of my favorite movies, and right at the end, it's just perfect. They actually talk about The Breakfast Club in Pitch Perfect, which was another really good movie, but it's got a lot of, like, I actually saw this thing on Facebook where it said, Pitch Perfect is easily the second most quotable movie, and the first one is Mean Girls. Because they are two movies that definitely, that you'll remember, because they're that funny, and I really liked it. And I think the word is that they're making Pitch Perfect 2. I'm not sure. But, yeah. Anyway, that was movies. That was music, obviously. Hailstorm. I definitely, my top 2 song, like my top song from Hailstorm that I suggest you guys should listen to is called I Miss the Misery, and you can definitely hear her voice. Like, I don't exactly know her name, but the lead singer of Hailstorm, you definitely, like, her voice is amazing in I Miss the Misery. It is such a good song. I definitely recommend that you download it, or you just even download the whole thing, the whole album, because it's amazing. And there are some slow kind of rock songs. They're like rock ballads. But anyway, it's really good. I definitely recommend you you either download or listen to I Miss the Misery. I recommend you read this book because if, like, the minute you get into, like, maybe, like, the first 7 chapters, you're like, nope, I can't put this down. I'm going to be reading it for a while. And for those of you who haven't seen The Breakfast Club, do that. Get on that. It's on Canadian Netflix. If you got Canadian Netflix, watch it. And I'm pretty sure it's on American Netflix too, because it's a really good movie. It's got Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, I don't know. And it's got a lot of, it's a really good movie. So, that was my video. I'm going into grade 9. And I'm just rambling now, but I'm going into grade 9 this year. So, obviously, for some of you people that have been to grade 9 or are going into grade 9, you know that there's going to be homework. And so I might not update and do uploads as much, like, as often, but I will try and upload whenever I can or after I read another book. Because this book was definitely worth uploading about, or recommending, or whatever. Well, yeah, that's it.